How to market a skincare brand using Facebook and Instagram ads. This is exactly what I'm going to cover in this particular video. Now, by then, when we finish, you'll have 100% clarity and a step-by-step guide on how to scale and run ads on Facebook and Instagram for a skincare brand. Just to set up expectations before we get started, this video I am not only going to talk about with the technical information, but also I'm going to cover things that actually move a needle, such as offer, messages, creatives. Because what used to work 1 year ago, 2 years ago, even like a couple months ago for a skincare brand is not going to work at this moment. Why? Because this industry, the marketplace, is much more saturated for pretty much this niche. That's why what used to work is no longer going to work. And we have to adapt and we have to admit that. And that's exactly why I'm going to show you all the other aspects that we have to pretty much cover in order to set up ourselves and set up the business for success. And the first thing that I want to cover is the offer. Everything starts with an offer. It's not only about the account structure, like the perfect account structure, or about the perfect audience. It all starts with an offer. If you do not have an offer that people would be willing to pay, then you simply do not have a business, but just an expensive hobby. That is something that I mention quite a lot. Now, let's kind of cover the first difference between an offer and a sale, because I've noticed that a lot of business owners, even marketers who've been in this industry for a while, they confuse these two aspects. When we're talking about a sale, pretty much this is, hey, get 15% off, get 20% off, something that probably you've already seen a lot in the marketplace. Also, it could be like buy one, get 50% off, buy one, get one for free, free shipping, and all kinds of stuff. When we're talking about an offer, this is usually comes down to the value that you are bringing to the table, to the marketplace, and how your product is going to help your customers. And like with a good offer, people now in exchange they are giving their money. That's a huge difference, as you can see, between an offer and a sale. Now, let's talk about how to create an irresistible offer for a skincare brand. There are only two ways to create an offer that people will be willing to pay money and will be willing to do business with you. First of all, we have to solve all the current and the future problems. So this is the key word, not only the current, but also the future problems. Most business owners, they only think about what is the problem that I am solving right now. And nothing wrong with that, but like only if you're focusing on solving the current problem that your customers might face, your clients will see your brand, especially if you are new on the marketplace, as everybody else. They cannot see that much of a difference. When you are also showing them the future problem, now at this moment, they could see a lot more value. They will increase the perception that they will think that, you know, your brand has a lot more value. Your products help them with a lot more things. And that's exactly actually what we're doing. We're helping them to solve not only the current, but also the next future problem that they might be experiencing with. And here's the key. They might know it or they might not know it. But by showing them, by talking about that on the website, now they actually will appreciate that a lot more. So let me give you a perfect example to give you a lot more clarity on this particular topic. Let's say that the current problem you are solving is acne. Okay, something quite like known, something that a lot of skincare brands are solving. If we're talking about the future problem, and this is something that I just made up in just a matter of seconds, maybe and most likely they don't know how to apply it. So knowing that, we have to think about the solution mechanism for that future problem. Let me give you another example to have a lot more clarity here. Let's say that the current problem we are solving is puffy eyes after sleep. The future problem is they might be wondering the product that they might use for their current problem is going to break the skin. Okay, knowing that, we have to sit down and brainstorm and come up with some solution mechanisms, some products, some digital products that is going to help them with that next future problem. Let me give you an example with, let's say they don't know how to apply the product for the acne. You might create some kind of PDF formats, some checklist, templates, blueprints that is going to help them with this particular information. And here's actually a very cool thing that you could leverage in your business. You do the work once, let's say that you like block out the time, you create these blueprints, templates, whatever you are going to do with your solution mechanism, and now you're putting like out there, you're putting on your website, and your customers will get that every single time when they're purchasing the first initial product. So besides that, you are leveraging this thing, you do the work once, and now you could use this for your entire business journey. On top of that, when your customers go to your website and they want to purchase, you come across not only like as a commodity, not as another brand, as another skincare brand, but once they see that you are helping them with multiple problems, they will think that your product is much more valuable because the perceived value is increasing at the time. That's the beauty of solving multiple problems. Now, the second way to create an irresistible offer is to make it extremely personalized. And you could see that more and more skincare brands, they are trying to create different quizzes, different processes to help the client to get like a personalized, a customized skincare kind of product bundle. It's something that actually works quite well, so I would highly recommend doing that. And again, you do the work once, and now you could leverage this for your entire life. And that's exactly how successful skincare brands can grow. It's all about the word leverage. In any kind of industry, if you could know how to leverage different aspects of your business, put some kind of systems in place, different bonuses and things like that, that's when you could scale your business. That's when you could, have a lot more time working on your business, not only in your business, kind of solving the same problem again and again and again. Let's talk about how to get to know the ideal customer who will be willing to spend the most amount of money on your website. We have to, first of all, find out with things like problems, frustrations, desires, and also emotional needs. So you could bridge the gap between the current situation that your customers are facing with, the situation when they just simply do not like to be, a situation where they might be frustrated, they might be struggling with, to the desired situation, a place where they are striving for, a place where they are dreaming about to be. Now, to put your message and creatives on steroids, find out the specific language that they are using and utilize also in your ads. For example, if I use the word anti-aging, and you could see that, throughout your customer research that they use a lot this word, make sure that you are using the same exact word. You don't need to be don't try to be creative. That's something that I've noticed a lot of business owners are making this huge mistake. When they are creating creatives or when they're crafting these ad copies, they believe that they have to be creative, but it's simply a myth. Marketing is all about data and the numbers. So the market research is going to help you out to come up with these creatives and the messages that is going to resonate with your audience. To find out about the problems, the desires, things that we've mentioned, I would recommend using Amazon reviews. So go to Amazon, type in the search bar, skincare products, and look at the reviews. I would recommend looking at the reviews with 3 stars because there you could see what are their frustrations, what they didn't like about the product. So you could take that feedback and go back to your business, go back to your products and improve them. Also, handle some of the objections throughout your ads and things like that. Well, also, you could go to your competitors on their website and look at their reviews. And one thing that also I literally very much prefer is to go to YouTube and type skincare products reviews and watch some of the videos where influencers are talking about with different skincare brands, their honest review, things like that. Because you could see there, again, the language, the words they're using. So like I said, you could use the same words for your marketing campaigns. Now let's talk about the ad creatives. With the time that we have right now, I'm gonna talk about the 3 best creatives that I noticed they are working the best for skincare brands. But you definitely want to test a lot more different types of creatives. The first one is user-generated content, and you have to make a lot of user-generated content. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. Just go to TikTok at Creative Center or Facebook Ads Library and type any of your competitor, and you will see that 80% of their creatives they are running right now is going to be user-generated content. why this is so powerful? It's because, you see, comparing with other industries, let's say fashion, you could put an image with a product, let's say a jacket. If a jacket is like beautiful, it just appeals to the customer, they like the design, doesn't need a lot of explanation. You could go ahead and just buy it. With the skincare brand, if you just put the product in front of the people, if they are not familiar with your brand, it's going to be quite difficult to sell. They don't know what is that about, they don't know how it's going to help them. So with the user-generated content, you could explain much more in depth how it's going to help them, the problem that they're facing right now. So it's much easier for the consumer to understand the value of your product. The second type of creative is a bullet point image. I've noticed for some reason it's working quite well. So I would recommend, giving a try as well. And the beauty of this is that it doesn't require, influencers, doesn't require a lot of time to create them. So if you are just getting started and you do not have the budget to start running ads with influencers, this is a creative that I would recommend to get started. And the third one is educational content. And again, educational content, I would say you will need a lot of that, especially if you are selling products that people have not really heard about it, where like the marketplace is not very educated. And keep in mind that an educated client is always a better client. Knowing that, by creating and by adding value upfront with this educational content, and then at the end you are adding a subtle call to action to tell to like your audience, hey, like go ahead and now take the quiz, purchase my products. Now they're gonna be more likely to purchase from you because they got some educational content from you, they got some valuable information upfront before you ask for a purchase, and it kind of creates this psychological trigger called reciprocity. Meaning is that when people get some info, get some help upfront, they're gonna feel obligated to like give you something back. In this case, they're gonna be more obligated, they will feel obligated that now they could go ahead and help you out with your business and just simply like buy your product. The next thing that I want to talk about is the ad copy. Here I'm gonna try to simplify as much as possible this aspect because it's a huge topic that requires hours and hours to explain. But to keep it simple, just talk about the benefits and not the features. Features is going to be usually like the ingredients we're using, what the product was made from. So it's all about the product. You like step back and you look what your message is, and you will see that it's a lot about like what the product is made. It's going to sound only that you are talking about the product itself. A benefit, on the other hand, it's all about the customer. It's all about what is in it for them. So when you're talking only about features, people will get bored quite quickly because every single brand, they claim lots and lots of promises, and just consumers kind of got used to that and they ignore that. With benefits, if you're talking about what is going to happen in their life by using your product and what is going to be the emotional need or emotional appeal, now they're much more interested and much more engaged to listen to your ad and to do business with you. That's the best recommendation that I could give you when it comes to the ad copy. Now, I'm not saying that you want to completely ignore the features. I'm just saying that you want definitely to focus in your marketing message most of the time on benefits. On your website, you could also have features, but from the marketing aspect where you don't have a lot of time to capture someone's attention, I would recommend just focusing on benefits. Now, the last thing is talking about the account structure. Probably you've been waiting for this a lot of time, but like I said, if you do not cover and if you do not get done all the things that I've mentioned previously, such as your offer, your creatives, your message, you're gonna have the best account structure, but nothing is going to work. So for the account structure, I keep it extremely simple. Why? Because the algorithms are extremely sophisticated. So you do not need to overcomplicate this thing because algorithms can target, can convert your customer if you have a good creative in place. So for the campaign, usually I have these two campaigns. I have a testing campaign and I have a main scaling campaign. For the scaling, I use only one ad set where usually I actually use the broad audience with no interest. For this particular ad account, we use a stack of interest, but I never ever use one interest per ad set. probably if you are coming from other YouTubers, you'll notice that it's a lot of battle between one interest per ad set or multiple interests per ad set. Actually, in most of the ad accounts, I use, like I said, broad audiences with no interest. But even if I use interest, I will stack them because I believe that in that way you could have much more effective results, and it's just a much more efficient way to, get more results out of your budget and out of your amount spent. And in this ad set, I use only the proven winning ad creatives that I've already tested them in the testing campaign, which looks something like this. So I could have here multiple ad sets depending on how many creatives I'm testing. In every single ad set, I have three new creatives that we are launching pretty much once per week or once in 2 weeks, depending on how much we are going to spend per month and on the amount spent required. That completely depends on every single ad account and on every single client. So you have to know what is your goal, how much you want to spend per day for your skincare brand, and then make your calculations and see how many ad sets you need to launch. And also you have to understand that we're not testing here audiences at all. We're testing only creatives. So we could have, for example, here 3 ad sets. Inside each ad set, we could have 3 ad creatives, meaning is that right here we are testing 9 ad creatives at a time. So depending on your capacity when launching and keeping up with launching new ad creatives, also that is going to dictate how many ad sets you are going to run. The daily budget that I put for the testing ad sets also depends on the product, on the average order value. If we are selling something much more expensive, then also the amount spent per day is going to be much higher. $50, $60, $70. If the AOV is lower, then I could put something like $20, $30 and things like that. Now, definitely your next question is going to be, hey Archie, but what about with a retargeting campaign? Well, you could add a retargeting campaign if you are running ads on other platforms such as TikTok, Pinterest, or whatever social media platform that you are currently using. If you're just focusing on Facebook and Instagram, just personally, I do not use a retargeting campaign, because if you look at the column that says frequency, which simply means how many times a person on average sees your ad, you'll see that it never stays at 1.0. So actually your prospecting campaign does the targeting as well, and that's why I do not use the retargeting, especially that I've noticed that just utilizing a retargeting and only focusing on Facebook, actually the return on investment is not that high because of all the changes that happened last year with the iOS 14 update. But if you are using other platforms like TikTok, Pinterest, definitely it's going to help you a little bit with your return on investment, because now you have a bigger pool of audience that you could retarget and show your ads to. So ultimately, bigger audiences does help the retargeting campaigns. Now, that was it. Again, my name is Archie, and actually I run a digital marketing agency who is specialized in running Facebook and Instagram ads for e-commerce brands. If your skincare brand is making at least $15,000 per month, I would invite you to click on the link below and schedule a quick discovery session with me. We'll go a little bit over your business to see your problems, your goals, and ultimately to see if you qualify for working with us. Again, your business must make at least $15,000 per month. If you're in that kind of position, click on the link below and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.